We are back. My name is Tyler Ortega. This is Molly Stevens, Zach the Voice Anaya, Kimbrey Sports Skinny Temple, and Kurt Olsner. So guys, let's discuss some draft picks here.
Yeah.
Dallas is sitting at number 4 overall in the upcoming draft this spring. Kurt, what do you think we should do with that?
We probably ought to pull a quarterback just because we need something for the future. You know, the scary thing is, though, is that taking quarterbacks early a lot of times is not successful. So I'm also good with taking the best player on the board, but we do need to think about a quarterback pretty soon.
Zach?
I really don't see a lot of depth in the draft this year, personally. I think the Cowboys should trade the number 4 overall pick, get a few second-round picks, maybe a few late first-round picks, and rebuild that secondary, because they definitely need help in the secondary this season.
That's a fair point. I mean, personally, I don't see Dallas reaching for a quarterback at 4 overall. I don't think it's that big of a need. I'm sure we can find a decent quarterback, you know, in the latter rounds.
Moore is the answer to back
4 or 5. I mean, me too. He's looked really good, and even then, now he's going to be with the team a little bit more. Like I said, they're going to go through off-season programs. I think Kellen Moore is a viable backup option, but I'd really, really like to see the Cowboys shore up the defensive line.
Yeah.
I mean, Randy Gregory and DeMarcus Lawrence. DeMarcus Lawrence went crazy over the last second half of the season. Randy Gregory was slowed down by an ankle injury, and Greg Hardy didn't really perform, you know, like we thought he would. He did make a difference, but I really would like to see the Cowboys go after Shaq Lawson, defensive end from Clemson. I mean, we'll see him coming up here in the national championship next week, I believe. But that guy he's just something else. And I mean, yes, he does play defensive end by trade. I think we can move him into the middle, get him as a D tackle. He can eat up that interior and let the pass rushers on the outside. And then too, the thing is, you know, you can never have enough pass rushers. That's what I think. I really like to see the Cowboys take a D end in that first round.
I think they need a quarterback to first pick. I understand they have a backup now, but with Romo's history the last couple of years with the injuries and something like that, I do think that they need another quarterback to back up Moore or anyone really. They definitely need a backup with the injuries that Romo's been.
Johnny Manziel.
Johnny Football! Come on! I've been waiting for him to get brought up. Look at the smile. Johnny Football.
No.
Johnny Manziel, real cheap. Real cheap.
Yeah.
Real
Does he want to
cheap.
be in Cleveland?
Yeah.
Okay,
No one wants him in Cleveland.
if the
They want him in
Cowboys
Dallas.
had wanted him, they
They
would
want
have
him in
picked him
Dallas.
up when he
I'll take him
originally
to
went to the
I was
draft.
going to say, you're not even a Cowboys fan.
Oh, he causes too many issues.
Are we doing this right now?
Are we?
Are we doing this?
I think we're outing Zach.
Full
as-
disclosure, everybody. Zach was our host for about half of the season. Zach is an Eagles fan.
He is.
Hey, I played a Cowboys fan on TV. Very well. Very well.
What do you think we should do with the draft, Kimbrey?
Honestly, I mean, you guys always give me crap, and I
ruined my
always say
career.
this. I would typically tell you, not necessarily your first pick in the draft, but some point
kicker?
to pick up. No, a special
wants a
team.
punter.
But Tyler has made a point this season over and over again that Dan Bailey is reliable. He is consistent. So scratch that. I honestly don't think their first pick should be a quarterback by any means. I always, every year, watch my Jaguars pick a quarterback first pick, and
In the
you're
top 5.
Why? Over and over, you're not picking anything good when you could wait later in the season or later in the draft, and find a decent quarterback who's consistent, who's just not highly recognized.
Tom Brady.
But some of those quarterbacks, the only reason they're not is because the team they play for doesn't have all the assets that they need. But I think if they build a really strong secondary and they get some defensive players, they have a better draft. Those would be my suggestions for the Cowboys with their draft picks.
I mean, there will be at least one quarterback available, I think, when we come up to pick at number 4. I mean, you
Absolutely.
have Jeff Goff from Cal, who just tore it up in that last bowl game. He's been
Oregon's
tearing it up
quarterback, he's
all
not
year.
that
Vernon
great,
Adams
but-
is okay. He doesn't fit our
I don't see him in
system.
Dallas
No.
yet.
And also Paxton Lynch from Memphis.
Okay.
Under the radar, a lot of people haven't heard of him. Just wait until the draft starts coming around. You're going to hear more and more Paxton Lynch, Jeff Goff. I think one of those guys will be available.
Yeah.
But I think Jerry Jones shows some restraint, and I think he tries to build elsewhere, like he's done over the last few drafts.
Yeah.
Instead of, taking Johnny Manziel, you take Travis Frederick.
I can say,
Players
though,
like that.
I have been impressed with their draft picks in the last 3 or 4 years. They don't blow them as much as some other teams are like, we have first-round draft pick, woo, what are we going to, this guy, and it doesn't even fit with their team. And the Cowboys have been pretty consistent with picking what they need and looking for quality over quantity.
I think Kurt would agree with me here that Jerry Jones is finally listening to his advisors. He's listening to those people around him.
In the draft.
Obviously, Greg Hardy, no one wanted Greg Hardy.
Well, and that, that was one of my issues also, was that, another key to next year would be reduce the drama a little bit. And unfortunately, I'm thinking Johnny Manziel is going to be coming to the Dallas Cowboys, which is going to be more of that drama. Hopefully not quite as much as Hardy brought, but
I hate that guy.
Just real quick, Greg Hardy, he signed a 1-year contract with the Cowboys. His contract is up right now. Does Dallas re-sign him?
He learned to shut his mouth, and so 6 weeks ago I was like, this guy needs to go. I'm neutral on it. If if we can get him cheap, he didn't do anything. I don't think. I don't think he really contributed for the amount of BS
Tension
that we
that he
went through.
brought, yeah.
So I'm neutral. As long as he keeps his mouth shut.
Molly, Dallas, do they re-sign Hardy?
I don't think Hardy should be playing in the NFL. Ray Rice can't play. Greg Hardy can't play. They're both just as terrible. And I don't think he should be in the NFL. I think he needs to be done. It's going to bring more attention to the Cowboys and makes that organization look bad. And I don't think it's the way to go.
I absolutely agree with both of you. I like Greg Hardy on the field. I think he's good at what he does. He's stable. He's reliable. He's got a little bit of an anger issue even on the field. But I think that the drama that he brings is just negative attention that the Cowboys don't want, don't need. He didn't really explode this season. He didn't really show us the hey, you're worth all the money that we're going to put into you. I don't think. I think we talked about it. Drama is just the last thing any NFL team wants. And I think Johnny Manziel, I think Greg Hardy, they're both negative situations. Whether they're good on the field or not, is it worth the drama?
Well, I mean, just having the star on the helmet, that is a lightning rod. Everybody, whether you love or you hate the Dallas Cowboys, you're gonna talk about them.
Yeah.
Even if
Host
you're
a show about him.
or host a show about him, like this guy. But personally, I do think we re-sign Greg Hardy. I'd like to see a 3-year deal, maybe even a team option for a 4th. I think when Jerry sat him down, told him, hey, you need to shape up or we're gonna let you go. After that happened, Hardy did learn to shut his mouth. He had a few on-field altercations, nothing like we were seeing, when he first started. But I do think if he gets the chance, another thing, again, if he can go through that full off-season program with the Cowboys and start from game 1 and not, game 6, I think it was this year, I think Greg Hardy is going to be great. I think he has the potential to be perhaps another DeMarcus Ware out there in Big D. But we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Save that thought. We'll get to it in the next segment. We'll be right back here with segment 4 of the Cowboys Fan Show.